started the recording.
Okay.
Let me share my screen. So, the agenda for today would be, Puneet, since you said you would, I mean, you are pretty new to this data engineering and you're not aware of the terminologies, right? So today we would
Yes.
be covering the very basics of data engineering, so that going ahead, like we would be, it would be easier for you to understand the various different things on cloud. So.
Okay.
Okay, so we would be starting with like very basics, like the terminology, what data engineering is, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So, I- so let me know if my screen is visible.
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just seeing this dots.
Oh, now do you see a Microsoft whiteboard?
No, no, no.
No. Okay. Let me stop and reshare if I can.
Yeah, I can see now. Like
You can see it
whiteboard.
now, right? Yeah, whiteboard. Yeah. So basically, we would be starting with the pretty basics of what data engineering is, Pranit. And feel free to stop me anywhere that you do not understand. I am like pretty fine with repeating things, and you know,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
okay.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So basically, we would be starting with what data engineering is. Like, I mean, the basics.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll first start with what data engineering is all about. So basically, it's like storing a lot of data and getting some insights out of it. So, for example, take any e-commerce company, or we would be taking an e-commerce company, maybe Amazon, or some retail company which has a lot of customer data and sales data that is getting generated. Okay. So the reason behind having a data engineering team or data engineering concept is like when you are bombarded with a lot of data, raw data, and you want to get some insights out of it, like you want to make your decisions, companies' decisions, data driven, so that it will give you profits. Okay.
Okay.
Did you get that? Like, for example,
Yeah.
if you have lot of data and you are able to you know you are able to capture all of them, and you are saying, hey, I am fine with my I have lot of data and I have capacity to fine tune or transform it and get insights out of it, so that that would be helpful for my company to make more clear decisions. Okay, and
Okay.
that's and thus leading to profits, or the sales of the company. So that's the reason why data engineering comes into picture. So the main
Okay.
concepts of data engineering is like I'll just show you. So for example, this is your company, e-commerce company, say Amazon. Okay, you have Amazon, and you are saying I'm okay to have lot of data, and this is my bucket or whatever thing, and you would be
Mm-hmm.
getting a lot of data, like you can call it as big data. Uh,
Okay.
from various sources. You have source 1, source 2, source 3, and data source 1, data source 2, and data source 3, and so on. There could be multiple n number of sources from where your company is getting data from. Okay,
Okay.
and this is all this data is in a bad format, like it's not in the way that you wanted. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like a raw data, and when you look at it as a company owner, or the C-suite members, like the CTO, CEO, like consider yourself as one of them of your own company, and when you look at this data, like which is in the already which is in the bad format, you would be unable to figure out what the hell is going on. Like you would be having a lot of data, access to data, but you don't know what it is. Like it's like you cannot make decisions out of it. It's like bad formatted, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is where, yeah, you got it right. So
Yes,
that
yes.
is where your data engineering comes into picture. So you want to transform your data so that, okay, now you want to transform your data so that it fits your goals. Like what do you want to look at and what data? For example, you want to look at data, like all this data would be having some fields like date time or something. Like for example, Amazon is present in US and Amazon is present in India, Mexico, all of these things. But you want all this data is having their own time zones. Like you have in the US CST, EST, all that stuff, right? And in India we have IST. So, but as a owner of your company, you want to standardize this while looking at your data. Like you want to maybe convert it into the generic format and do some transformations, like standardize data, remove duplicates. Like there would be some dummy data, like useless data, remove that. After transforming all the things, this is transformations, or transform, what you can say, transform, you would be getting a cleaner data, right?
Okay.
Okay, now this clean data can be utilized by your team or your company to make your decisions. So you can run some queries out of it, and you can be ready with your visualizations, or what not visualizations, your graphs, Tableau or Power BI, so that you can have some insights, and depending on that insights you implement your ideas. For example, let's take an example of inventory management, or forecasting the sales. And you want to see, like depending in the US you have the one famous thing called Black Friday sales, right? Like there would be
Yeah.
a lot of offers during that period. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and now based on last year's Black Friday sales, now you want to take decisions on your upcoming Black Friday, which is going to be this year. Consider,
Okay.
and now you have your previous year's data, maybe last 6 years of data, like how the users behavior would be, what is the most sold product category, whether it's mobile phones or tablets, or
Laptops or something. Yeah.
you want to get that insight, so that what's the use of it? You can the use is, you can now in this year you can forecast the sales and have that many number of products available to the user, so that the user will not go into product not available, sold out issues. You're getting it, right? This is just one basic scenario. Like depending on it, like the categories you can the inventory management, all that stuff, the prices, you can compare the prices over last 6 years, and what the users are more interested in buying, all that stuff. The data driven, these are called, all these things are called data driven decisions. And this helps companies like in getting better profits, margins, etc.
Okay.
You got it right. Is
Yeah.
this clear, the intention of data engineering in any company?
Yes, yes.
Sure. Okay. Okay, so this is the basic ideology of data engineering. And if you come at like different aspects of data engineering, on different processes of data engineering, first thing is first thing is data collection. Okay,
Yeah.
data collection. What do we do here is like if you collect data from various sources. Okay, only when there is a data, you can get some insights out of it. Without data, you won't do anything, right? You won't be able to do anything. So, first step is to collect data. So, data collection is the first step where you would be collecting, a lot of data from various sources. There could be multiple sources. Okay, for the
Mm-hmm.
same example, Amazon. Um, do you know what sources of data Amazon has? Like it has a mobile app, okay, right? Be it
Yeah.
Android or iOS, it has mobile app. That could be one source. It has website, right? The default one from browser where you can access, and it could be having some inventory. I mean, Amazon. I don't think they have in-house shops like the regular shops. Do
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
in the
Retailer shops do.
retail shops? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
if that is there, you can have that as a one of the data source. And now you need to collect them and combine them into one place, right?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
because if you want to do something, you first you capture them, you put it all of this into one place, and this
Mm-hmm.
place you can call it as data lake. Like it's been like you might be hearing about this term called data lake these days. So what data lake is, it says, hey, you have a lot of data, don't worry, just dump it to me. So you have multiple sources, don't worry about their format, whether it's dirty data, it's clean data, nothing. Like you have multiple sources, dump it to data lake, I'll take care. Okay.
Okay.
From data lake is a place where you have raw data. If you want to look at it, you it won't make any sense, but data lake is important because it is very cost effective. Okay, so it won't cost you
Okay.
much. For example, be it your drive, like your Google Drive or my drive, okay, drive location, it won't care about your data, whether it's video files, audio files, pictures. Okay, it just gives you like 5 GB or 15 GB, do whatever you want. Okay, kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like a data lake.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so first stage is like collect. Collect would be your first step in your data engineering thing, and the second phase would be the transformations. If you see here, this is the
Yeah. Transform.
transform data, right? So you have all the dirty data and you want to clean the data. So that's where your transformation comes into picture. This is the second stage called transformation, where you run some filters on the existing data. For example, you want only buyers who are from age range between 18 to 25, and you want to know only the behavior of that users, like maybe the Gen Z or millennial people, and you want what these people are buying more frequently. Okay, that is one filter. Like that depends on your company's goals, or what data what insights you want to see. Like maybe your company wants to know uh, uh, what's the most sold category for males and females separately. So that is one criteria. So depending on the company, on the use case, there could be multiple criteria. So all these
Yeah.
criteria are the filters that you put it in your transform step. Clear till here, Pranit? Or any
Yeah. Yeah.
doubts?
Yes.
Let me know
No.
if you have any doubts.
No. 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 I'm good.
Okay. Okay, right. So, so first is like collecting the data, and you
Yeah.
can call collect
Transforming.
transforming the data. And here there would be one hidden thing called data warehouse in between, your visualization and the clean data. So that is called data warehousing. Okay,
Okay.
okay. And what data warehouse is like? It's a huge collection. Like normal there is a difference between database and data warehouse. So a database is like a small storage area database, but whereas coming to warehouse, it's a, like as a name says, warehouse, right? It's like a huge data, like it would be having some terabytes of data, and it's all cleaned, not raw data. So whenever it's like dirty data and large, it's data lake. Whenever it's clean data and large, okay, it's data warehouse. Clear?
Okay.
You can call it as data warehouse, DW. And
Can Can you please repeat again about this data warehouse, please?
sure, 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 sure. So basically, when you collect the data, right, it's dirty,
Yeah.
right? It's like unreadable or useless for us, useless for our company,
Yeah.
right? And you don't care about the amount of size of the data, okay? And you just dump it into data lake. So
Okay.
data lake is like dirty data plus huge amount of
Use.
data,
Yeah.
right? That's called data lake. But coming to data warehouse, it's a huge data again, but it's all clean data, not dirty.
Okay. Which is useful for the company, right?
Correct, correct. So how do once you have all the clean data into proper data warehouse, how do you
Yeah.
see it? You need to query it like using SQL. Okay. When
Okay.
you know SQL, like you can run SQL queries and you can extract insights out of it. You can just say select star from this table, select star from this table where cities, Hyderabad or
Okay.
cities, Texas, and whatever you want. It's already clean data. Now you want the results, just query it and look at it. So this is how a data warehouse works. It's very important in, for any company for running any analytics queries and all that stuff. Like if you want to see for last 6 years what is the average sales per day, like it's all data is available in data warehouse. You just need to write a query for it, like select average, average sales, and you group by day or something, and using SQL you would be able to get that particular result whatever your query is.
Okay.
Okay. And coming to data warehouses example, you can have Redshift. Okay. It's an AWS offering, Redshift, and you have Snowflake. Previously, in the first demo, I was saying, right?
Yeah,
So
previously you
Snowflake,
mentioned.
Redshift, these are all data warehouses. And if you go with GCP, there is a cloud called Google offering called GCP, which is their own cloud, just like AWS. They have something called BigQuery.
Okay.
Okay. Then as a name suggests, you query it, but the data is big. That's it.
Okay.
So yeah. So data warehouse, it's the clean data, hell lot of data, and that is actually useful for your insights. Okay, just remember this way. Data warehouse is
Okay.
this thing. Any doubts here, Pranit?
No, sir. Not I good.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, as I said, transform, right? So how do you transform the data? You need some you need some power, right, to transform, you to fine tune your data, to remove something, to add something. All these things for transformations, we use something called on AWS. We use something called Glue. AWS Glue.
No.
Glue
Okay.
jobs. Okay. What this does is it internally has something called PySpark or Spark. So using PySpark, you can write your code, which is like a PySpark is like a Python based code to run the Spark framework. So it's like a big data processing framework which will filter your data, add transformations if you want. For example, like during transformations, if there is a requirement in your raw data, in your unclaimed data, you can say you have something called DOB, date of birth of all the customers. But
Okay.
our company, there is a requirement to have a field called age. You need to calculate that age and populate. For example, if you are born in 1996, like you would be having some 28 years, right? And you only have DOB field in your raw data. But if you want to add that new column called age, you need to
Age.
calculate it, and instead of 1996 you need to show them as 28. Getting it
Okay.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is called a new column addition. Like for example, for this should happen for all the records, like next customer would be 30 years, 32 years. So this entire thing, okay, age is a new column that you are adding. So all these things, like if you want to delete a column, for example, if there is a address field in your raw data and you don't care about the address from where the sales are happening, and you don't want that address in your data warehouse on or your visualization, you need to delete a field column called address, right?
Address. Okay.
So yeah, all these things come under your data transformations, because you're adding it, you're deleting it, or modifying it. Like you have your email field, right? Email
Yeah.
field, there would be something called data governance also, where you're supposed to uh, like adhere to some privacy things. Like for example, you have your pranit at gmail.com, but the compliance, the you have certain regulations by government that personal information should not be visible. Okay, you're getting it right? So
Okay.
in these cases, what you need to do is you have pranit at the rate of gmail.com. You want to mask this, like this will become ####, maybe last 4 digits, and at the
Yeah.
rate of gmail.com. So all this comes under transformations. And maybe phone number you want to you have something called in the US you would be having some I'm not remembering them, you have something called UN or uh, like ID, right? Like 7-digit ID.
Yeah, SSN. We're talking about
Correct,
SSN.
correct, correct. Social
Yeah.
security number. Right, right, right. Perfect. So yeah, uh, so those kind of thing. If you want to mask them and the phone number, for example, if you want to, hide them, all this comes under the data governance things. Also comes under transformations. Right? You're getting
Transformation.
it right?
Okay. Yes.
So are you clear till here, Pranay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
Any
so,
doubts?
so we, yeah, transforming the data, we use glue jobs, right?
Yes, yes. In
Okay.
AWS. So
In
we
AWS.
actually have something called EMR, which is a different service, and EMR and Glue are like what do we call alternatives. EMR is
Okay.
more like a server, based. You need to set up the size of the cluster and all that stuff. But Glue is serverless, meaning you don't care about what server setting up the infrastructure. Just give me the you're asking the cloud, AWS cloud. I just have the code. I want to run it, and you just give me a provision to do so. So it's like a serverless. It's like a latest technology. EMR is also good
Okay.
for transforming, but you need some more efforts in setting up the cluster and all that stuff. This is serverless. So basically, when we get into deep into the AWS thing, okay, we would be seeing what serverless is and what you need to
Okay.
set up for the regular ways. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and S3. So EMR, the transformations, you got to know that using PySpark we do for data warehouse, Redshift, Snowflake, BigQuery, etc. These are the various options that are there. And for visualizations, if you want to finals, so in any data pipeline or any data engineering project, the final, all these things that we are doing, right? The differences, collecting, transforming, storing into data warehouse, right? So what's the end goal? End goal is visualization, right? If you do not have a visualization, there's no point doing all these things. Okay, there should be some consumers, right, who are consuming.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the diagram I'm just replicating here. This would be the same thing. Okay, you would be having some graphs and pie charts, whatnot. Like this would be the end, visualization, or you can
Okay.
say this as BI, business intelligence. You
Okay.
might be hearing this term called BI.
Yeah.
Okay, business intelligence. And what are the various options for it? You have Tableau. Okay, you have Tableau, you have Power BI, and within AWS you have something called QuickSight. As the name suggests, like site suggests something which is visualization based thing, right? So these are the various options that we have for this, like Power BI, Tableau, QuickSight. So in AWS there is their own offering called QuickSight, and this can be used on top of your data warehouse to see how data looks like in a
Okay.
visual format. As a CEO or CTO, the C-suite people, they don't understand queries and all that stuff. They want their kind of visual kind of thing so that it is easier on them. So this is the final step in any data engineering project: visualization. Okay,
Okay.
clear till here?
Yes, sir. So we use in AWS we use only QuickSight, right?
QuickSight, right? This is only
Okay.
the offering. If you
Okay.
are going with Azure, they have their own
Power
Microsoft
BI.
Power BI. Yeah, Tableau is an independent thing, just like Snowflake. It's a different company. You need to integrate
Okay.
it with this. Like integrations would be possible everywhere. Like I mean, it's not like it's not compatible or like this, but QuickSight is their own offering, and other things can be. It requires some additional efforts from the developers to integrate them. That's it.
Okay.
If your
Okay.
company is forcing us to we it's a company standard that we only use Tableau, there's nothing to do. AWS, you have if you are using AWS, you need to establish a connection to Tableau and do it. So all these things, all these things, even Snowflake is integrated with AWS. Even Redshift is a direct offering of AWS, but you can also connect to Snowflake. So integration is not an issue these days. Like all the clouds are they accept each other's services. You're getting it
Okay.
right? Okay. So first thing is data lake, as I said. So what would be the offering? As I said, you have something called your drive, and you don't care about the data. It's a huge data. Just you are given like a 5 GB or 15 GB, for example, and you just want to dump into it. So the best option in AWS would be S3 for
That.
this. Yeah,
Okay.
S3. So S3 we would be going in deep once we get started with the cloud thing, and S3 is like a bucket, like simple storage service.
Okay.
S3 simple storage service, 3 S's. And what it does is it's basically like data, like you want to store any kind of data. If you want to upload a movie to it, to your bucket, you can do it. You want to upload a picture of yourselves, photos, audio files, text files, whatever, that the format of the file does not matter. You can upload anything to S3, and this can be served as a your initial stage of storage. Of course, it's
Okay.
dirty data, raw data, but still you need some staging area, right? You need something to hold your data so that you can transform it in the next level.
Okay.
Okay, clear till here, or any doubts?
Yes.
Is it like overwhelming, or you know
No, no.
let me know. Okay, so clear till here, right? This is how
Yes.
the basic data engineering a pipeline or the architecture looks like. You have various stages like collecting, transforming, storing, finally visualizing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, this diagram is like pretty messy, but I have already captured a few diagrams from internet, which would be more appealing to you maybe. And these are those things like, so you have various data sources, okay, coming in, where your data is
Okay.
coming in from. And first thing is data ingestion. So this collecting data is also called ingestion. Like if you are from, the source perspective, you want to ingest the data, right? So
Okay.
it's also called as ingestion. Okay, you want to ingest the data. Second thing is data processing. What is processing? It's the transforming, right? So if,
Transformation.
yeah, so you do ETL means I'll go in detail. So it's like ETL, all these architectures are similar. I'll just go through them. Okay, ETL is your transformations. And if you want to store the data, so here we are using data
Data
warehouse,
warehouse.
right? Okay, you want to store it. Finally, on top of data warehouse, you want to visualize your data. Maybe other AI/ML teams want to use your data. That's up to them. So as a data engineer, your duty is from here to here, like clean the data and store it into some stable location called warehouse, or you want to store it back to another data lake, all these things. But it's a responsibility of the business intelligence team, how they want to utilize the data, or it's a responsibility of data science team, whether if they want to train their models on top of your data, etc. So we, as a data engineer, we are not that much worried about the use case of the end data, end goal. Our job is to clean the data, make it available to the downstream teams. So there is a term
Okay.
called downstream team, like downstream in the sense, I mean, who are going to use further your data.
Okay.
Okay, that's called downstream. And upstream means where the data is coming from. Okay,
Okay.
the various data sources that you are getting data is upstream, and where you are sending data to is called downstream.
Okay.
Okay, clear till here?
Yes.
Or let me know if you have any, even if you have minute a doubt, just let me know. Okay. uh, these are other diagrams which are pretty similar. Like it's all, the architecture is very standardized. You have multiple data sources. You
Yeah.
extract
Okay.
it, transform the data, and load it into a data warehouse, right? And from data warehouse, there are different teams that are using, maybe a BI team, or report for their purposes. So we are not bothered about the how they want to utilize data, but it's your duty to extract the data, transform it as per again the transformations, all the criteria, like filter conditions. Who would be giving? There would be business analyst that would be giving you how you want to transform data. Like by your own, you cannot transform the data, like add a new column called age, remove this column called email, right? So there would be
Yeah.
business analysts that they would be giving you the technical the details, business details, what they are looking for.
Okay.
And it's your duty to convert that into PySpark transformations, or SQL, whatever you are familiar with. Transform the data in technical terms and give it back to them.
Yeah.
Okay, you're getting it, or any doubt?
Yes. No, no, no. I'm good.
Okay, so again, this is we hear very frequently a term called ETL. Okay,
What?
So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load.
Lord.
It's all again the same. You might be already figuring out this diagram, like what ETL does is, like, first thing, ingestion or extraction, depending on the perspective. Like if you are looking from here, it's called extraction. If you are looking from here, it's ingestion, right?
Okay.
Okay. So like ETL is like E stands for extract, T transfer transform, L transfer load it to a data warehouse. Extract,
Data
do the
warehouse.
transformation, load it so that the further teams can utilize your insights.
Da- Okay.
Okay. So this is the basic understanding of all the ETL data pipeline architectures. This is the standard architecture. Depending on your projects and company's use case, there could be few more components or few less components depending on the company. Is this
Okay.
clear, Pranit?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
sure.
I got a
Okay.
question about the S3 is a data lake which is called S3, right?
No, no, no. See, S3 is a service which offers you storage. Okay, and in our
Okay.
diagram, in our architectures, we are calling it as a data lake. I mean, data lake is just a term.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Okay. Okay.
you might be working with S3, you might be not even aware that you are utilizing it as a data lake. It's just good to know that it can be referred to as data lake, but in reality, like, it's like you have your data warehouse names, like all these things. So this is just a conceptual understanding. Data lake is a concept, but it's
Okay.
all
Okay.
S3 in detail. You need
Okay.
not
S3.
know. Yeah, it's S3, and it's just a referral. I mean, data lake is the way you call it. Like if you have a lot of data, you call it as a data lake, which is dirty data, raw data,
Yeah.
and you don't care about the format or no cleanliness, etc. It's generally referred to as a data lake. Okay, and data lake, for data lake in AWS, we are utilizing S3. There could be multiple options. If you are on Google Cloud, you might be using GCS. It's their own storage. There you can call that as a data lake. So depending on the storage, it's like a raw storage. That's it. Data lake,
Okay.
it's for your understanding. It's like a conceptual term. That's it. Since you are pretty new to
Okay.
the terminology, I've added it. But you can say raw storage. That would be easier to understand.
Okay.
Okay, you can say this is called raw storage. This is called the cleaning layer, or that thing, and this would be your final cleaned layer, something like
Okay.
that. Raw, the intermediate cleaning, or the final cleaned product,
Oh.
cleansed details. So that's how you can call it as, like, and few companies, as I said, it all depends on the company standards. Like few call them, here they call them as a bronze layer, here they call it as a silver layer, and finally, once it's ready for visualization, they call it as a gold layer. So depending
Okay.
on the use case, like few companies call, as I said, raw, processing, curation, all that stuff. Like they have their own uh, names within their company, and most of the projects they use this thing, raw, and processing or intermediate processing, finally the consumable layer. Here transformation layer
Okay.
can be called as curated layer. They have different terminology. Like, but one thing to remember is cleaning or cleansing, transforming, curation, all these things are the same.
Okay.
Curating, transforming, cleansing, all these things are same. Okay, and here the data lake that we have, you can call it as a bronze layer, or the raw layer, or the unclean layer. All these things are same.
Okay.
Okay, finally you have the cleaned one, right? So you can say cleansed data warehouse, or the consumable layer, or the gold layer. All these things are same: bronze, silver, gold, raw, curation, finally it's like a consumable layer. So this is how it looks like. But when get into a real a project, you need to follow what they are saying, and that's it. Like, it's just an understanding. You just need to have an understanding of the high level overview. But yeah, so what it matters is the PySpark skills, and ability to create pipelines, what AWS services you want to use when you are asked to create some pipeline. So it's all that matters. But whether you want to call it data lake or whatever, that's like a minimal importance. Okay. Clear, Pranit, till here?
Yeah, yes, sir.
No doubts?
No, I'm good.
So we would be covering, I mean, we went through what data engineering is, what data collection, storage, processing, and one thing I, forgot to iterate. So this entire process that we are seeing here, right? If you want to automate it, like for example, the data is coming, okay, and you want to automate the transformations, like with minimal manual intervention, you're getting it right. The entire thing should be automated so that whenever a new data comes in, finally the visualization, till visualization, it should be automated. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. If you want to automate this entire stuff, entire data engineering pipeline, it's called data pipeline. Okay.
okay,
Okay, this is the actual architecture. But if you want to automate this entire data engineering architecture, this is called data pipelining
fine,
or
fine. Okay,
data pipeline. Clear? So what this pipeline does is, the main goal of pipeline is to automate and orchestrate kind of your things, or you can maybe schedule your jobs, like you want to run this entire process daily 9 p.m. EST or CST. So how do you do it? You
okay,
schedule your data pipeline to run at a certain time in a day. You're
okay,
getting it? Okay. This orchestration or scheduling the entire workflow is called data pipeline. Okay, you're getting it? Any doubt, Pranay?
no, sir.
Okay. So yes, you can call this data pipeline also as ETL pipeline, because you're doing the same thing, extracting, transforming, and
Transformer.
and loading into data warehouse.
Yes,
Okay. So this is how the generic terminology and what do we call the workflow looks like in a data engineering project, Pranay. So collection, storage, processing, the entire process called, pipelines. So we would be getting into some important or, concepts within the data engineering. Okay. But again, the initial session today would be more into theoretical things, because I want to make it clear for you the terminology, so that it will not be a problem, when we get into the hands-on. Right? Is this fine?
okay,
Or you want to get into the hands-on thing? So what I prefer is first understand things, the you know uh, the terminology. It would be easier for you. What do you say?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So do you have any idea about the various data? So we talked about the data right here. We talked about the various data sources, right?
Yeah, various data coming from the outside.
The
Yeah.
sources, right? So do you have any idea about the various data formats available, in a regular way, in a day-to-day life? Like maybe have you heard about CSV files, text files?
No, I mean, no, no, sir.
Oh, okay. So let me explain them. So all the data that we have, right? All the data that we have in your day-to-day world is like categorized into three formats. Okay,
Okay,
categorized into three formats. One is structured data. Structured. You have semi-structured, and one thing you have unstructured.
okay,
Okay. So when you call structured data, as the name says, your data is in a proper format. Like proper format in the sense you have tables and columns. Sorry, rows and columns. For example, in any DBMS, like I guess you do not know anything about DBMS, right? Mm, the database thing. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Okay.
okay.
These are DBs, or you call them as databases. Okay. Have you heard about something called MySQL or Oracle? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What are these? These are databases, like
Okay,
different companies of databases, like MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, and what else you have? A lot of things. Postgres. You know. All these things are database companies or uh, databases. So what databases have is they have tables within it. Like for example, you have employee table, maybe you have customer table. Okay. So
Okay.
what tables have is tables have the records. For example, it has like a name, salary, phone number, and these are called columns, and all the actual records like employee name, Praneeth, Nivas, all these are called rows, right? So it's all very structured format. Like how can we say? Yeah, as in saying you some you have databases, okay? Under databases you have tables,
The
okay?
columns
Yeah, in
and
tables you have
rows and
rows
columns.
and columns. And what columns is the field name. What's the field is
Yeah.
like, is it
Field
a
name.
name, age, address, and that thing. What rows is, it's the actual records, like the actual employee details, like Pranit's detail, Nivas detail, all that stuff. So it's all very structured, rows and columns. That is what structured data is.
Structure. Okay.
Okay, one example of structured data would be your DBs, regular databases.
Okay.
Okay, RDBMS, or you can say relational database model. Okay, regular DBs. Okay, since the data is very structured. And but what is semi structured and unstructured? Okay, first we'll go to unstructured. It would be easy. So this is one structured way. By looking at your database or querying using SQL, you would be able to get the results. But there could be some unstructured things. For example, your audio files. Okay, you don't know what kind, how the data is being stored, your videos. Okay, you're
Okay.
getting it right. Your PDF files. Do you know how the data is stored? We are not sure, right? We just have, it ends with .pdf and we upload it to somewhere, but we don't know how it gets stored. So all these things are very unstructured. So you
Okay.
cannot access a chunk of data from it, right? Like if you cannot, for example, if you want to know what what's the salary of Praneeth from your DB, you can easily fetch it using SQL. But it's not the case with PDFs or audio or video files, right? So that's why it's
Videos.
called
Okay.
unstructured data. You getting it?
Okay.
Okay, and there is some middle point where it's like it's called semi structured. That is called your JSON files. There is a format called JSON. Okay, there is a format called XML. So these are semi structured. You can query it. I mean, it's like a nested format. It's like it would be in a document format. For example, you have name, and for that name you have age, phone number, etc. You have another name, and you have their own attributes. So it's like a semi structured. It's not very structured, it's not unstructured, it's like a semi structured. The good example is JSON. I mean, these are a few basic things that would help you to like just be aware of different kinds of data, but it's not that important. If you're not getting or not it's not very interested, just you can ignore this. But this is good to know that data would be three types: structured, semi structured, unstructured, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, just a theory, just to know about various data formats. And okay, now if you see the data formats, like data formats would be CSV files. When you open an Excel, right? Excel, you can have in the Microsoft Excel, you can save the files as CSV as well, right? So
Yes.
CSV is one file format, text file is one format, and JSON, as I just said, is one of the major, mostly used semi-structured format. CSV, text, JSON. What else? We have something called Parquet. Okay, this is very important for big data. Okay, Parquet,
Okay.
Parquet. So
UET.
this is
Okay.
QUET. Yeah, this is one of the important format specifically designed for big data use cases. So all these other things you would be finding in regular day-to-day life, but Parquet is specifically designed for your PySpark processing or transforming the data. The big data thing. It's like more
Okay.
efficient for it. Okay, so these are the various formats: CSV, text, JSON, Parquet. So just to be aware, these are the multiple data formats. Okay, what else? So we have something called OLTP and OLAP. I'm just thinking if it if that would be overwhelming for you or you know.
I mean, your voice is too low, sir.
But Pranath, can you come again?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear now.
Okay. Actually, there is a thing called OLTP versus OLAP. I'm just thinking if it would be too overwhelming or too advanced for you. I mean, to know the concept since you're completely beginner. How you are feeling? Like, is it like overwhelming or you're able to easily understand, or can we speed up
I
or
mean,
slow down, or
no,
this
no,
is
I'm
fine
getting easily, sir. I'm not.
easily?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, 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 okay. Just feel free. Like if you do not understand anything, just stop me wherever you want,
Oh,
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
can have. Okay. So
Discuss about it, sir. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, we will have one example based thing so that it would be easier. Okay. So let's take the similar example of Amazon. Okay.
Okay.
Similar example of Amazon. There are two things. Okay. I mean, these are kinds of storage that we have. Like first thing is OLTP. Second thing is OLAP. Okay. So what these two things are, just we will just have through the example based thing. So okay, OLTP, online transaction processing. Like it's like a storage for your all your transactions, transactional
Okay.
data. Transactional data. OLAP, online analytical processing. This is all your analytics data. Analytical data. Getting it? So now, for example, you are asked to find out the most sold product category in the last 6 years. So it comes under analytics, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
you are dealing with pretty heavy data, and you are involving data warehouse into it. Okay, you are involving data warehouse and huge data. Okay, you're involving data warehouse, it's a huge data, and if you want to query something called over past 6 years, you want to know something, so it's like analytics, so it comes under OLAP. Okay, coming to transactional processing, you want to know what is the price of a certain product. Like for example, if you're having an iPhone 16 or 15, okay, and you want to know the price of that particular product, it comes under transaction processing, because there is no need for a data warehouse. It's not cleaned or unclean, it's just the data. You want to know something, right? So it's like a table. You can utilize databases instead of data warehouses for this databases. So the difference between database and data warehouse is, database is too small for your regular day-to-day activities. Data warehouse is for already cleansed data, but it's in a huge data, like over period of years. It accumulates data from previous lot of years, and you can run some analytical queries. So whenever there is a talk of analytical queries, it's OLAP, and whenever it's like a regular querying small things, it's like transactional processing. Okay, for example, let's take orders table. Like there could be some table. So since I said there is a database, you have something called tables within it, and imagine there is a table called order table. Okay, order table, and what table has is rows and columns, right, as I just said. So you have maybe the column names as order ID, order date, the quantity, okay, etc., and the customer ID.
Okay.
You're getting it?
Yeah.
Okay, these are the multiple, you know, fields, like for any order table, like who ordered it, what was the quantity of it, what's the amount of it, order date, order ID, right? So all these things are pretty basic. This is transactional data. So as soon as a customer purchases, consider they are browsing through their mobile, or Windows, or whatever the PC, and they bought something. So when they hit on buy now, okay, you're getting it right. When they hit on
Yeah.
buy now, the immediately that record would be inserted into a database, a table
Okay.
actually. Okay, whenever a user clicks on buy now, so that order ID, the date of purchase, quantity, the city name or whatever, all these things would be stored into a transactional database, or the
Okay.
transaction table. So this is very quick, happening very quick, and it should be on demand kind of thing. Okay, this comes under OLTP. So all the things that you do in regular day-to-day activities, right? You are sending a message in WhatsApp, or you're opening WhatsApp, you're doing uploading a status, or you're browsing something on Amazon, you're buying something, you are searching for something. So all these things, all regular day-to-day activities come under OLTP, transactional data, depending on the different products. Like for example, you are using MS Teams, like all the things, every company has OLAP, OLTP and OLAP, and OLTP is the regular transactional data that we do. But when it comes to OLAP, it's like not on demand, it's like very on demand OLTP. So as soon as you do something, it gets stored, and that is used for. But OLAP is for analytics, like maybe they would be running some bad jobs every 3 months, and uh, it's like for the same example, it's like order level, right? For the same data warehouse, for the past 6 years, if you want to see what are the which city placed the most number of orders, so this becomes analytics query, because you are querying the entire range of 6 years, and you have order cities, and you want to get the which city has most orders in last 6 years. This becomes analytics. But this one, it's a regular day-to-day activity. So just remember one thing: OLTP is like a regular transactions that you do day to day. OLAP is analytics that you want to query on a specific use case over a period of time. So what's the use of OLTP? Oh, sorry, OLAP. It's like to drive your business. You want to know what's the most, which city has, bought given us more profits or more margin. So to know some things about, the overall aspect of your company or your performance, use OLAP. And for regular day-to-day, necessities, to store your data is mandatory, right? Like if you want to buy something, you have to store it somewhere, so that it gets reflected on their app as well. When they go to orders, my orders, they should be able to see, right? Okay, for regular day to day it's OLTP, and for analytics it's OLAP.
Okay.
You got it, or any doubt, or do you want me to repeat?
Yeah, can you repeat again about the transactional data analytic? I mean, I got it, but I'm just confused about it somewhat.
Yeah. So OLTP is like a regular day-to-day activities, Pranit. For example, if you are buying something, when you click buy now, or
You said like yeah, okay, the transactions like any transactions we do in any app like Amazon, Flipkart, anywhere.
yes,
So it comes
yes.
under
And
OLTP.
transaction. And don't be confused that when it says transaction, it does not limit only to your,
The
financial
transaction.
transactions, or, the
Okay.
purchases. No, 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 that's not the case. Transaction in the sense, you be it any app, like for example, how do we say, for
WhatsApp, you said.
example, yeah, WhatsApp, or, any other things that requires immediate, database entries. Okay, whatever you do, some operation, it requires database entries, like to store that for immediately. So all this comes under transactional data. It doesn't mean that only financial transactions of credit card, or
Okay.
etc. Okay,
So
you're
these
getting.
transactional data is confirmed. I mean, or like they're like what you say that combined and all together is analytical data, right? I mean, that's what I
Right.
got.
Yeah, over a period of time.
Yeah,
Over a
yeah,
period of time. And this, I mean, before loading into OLAP, you want to fine tune it, maybe to transform the data. So here it's order table. Maybe here it would be a new table called order history or something, order underscore history. And this will not contain all the records, that all the fields that you had here. Maybe you have multiple tables, you are combining them and creating your final, analytics table.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, cities
Yeah.
or address, like whatever you want, which is necessary for running analytics, which city, all these things. So but this
Okay.
has a lot of data. This is like, on demand data, like maybe like very small data tables, but this is like combined data of, over a period of time, and lot of tables combined, this will create your OLAP table.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, getting it.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, we have covered the basics of data engineering, lab, OLTP, or I'll tell you, one use case. Um, you want to, actually I already covered it, like you know the buy now thing. So whenever a user clicks buy now, it's like immediately recorded, right? So this is like
Yeah.
OLTP, but this can wait, like this should happen immediately, but this analytics entries can be happening at like every 3 months or 6 months. You dump all your huge data, clean it, and dump it to, your OLAP, because OLAP is not exposed to customers mostly, right? So OLAP is for your internal company,
Internal.
performance,
Yeah.
data driven decisions. But this one OLTP is like, customer is already waiting for their, information. So this is like immediate on demand basis. This could wait for some time. You can batch process it, and you can have your insights. And in OLAP, some errors are, discounted. Like you can ignore some errors. If there are some errors in certain fields, you can ignore them, because anyways you're running for over period of some years, right? So there could be some differences that is still accepted. But here the consistency is, the main thing. You cannot have, wrong address, or wrong price of a product. This will, mess up the customer. So just a point.
Okay.
Mm, transactional data. So these are the main things. I think stream is structured. Okay. I'll just tell you one more just terminology. Okay. Okay. We don't call this terminology, but as I said here, when you want to orchestrate your pipeline, you have something called dedicated orchestrators. Like I just said that we would be scheduling the data pipelines, and maybe run at 9 p.m. daily. And who is going to run it actually? Okay, there is something called orchestrator. Okay. Okay, orchestrator is uh, the one, or the service orchestration, okay, which does your scheduling, or maintaining or running, automatically. So the service that we are going to use in AWS, it's called step function.
Okay.
Okay, step function is a way to, orchestrate or automate your batch job, or the pipelines. Okay.
Okay.
Second thing, like very widely used thing, like in most of the projects, it's called airflow. AIRFLOW, Apache. It's like Apache Airflow. So this is a, whole different. It has become a like skill in itself now. But step function
Okay.
is an AWS offering. Be aware that Airflow comes under orchestration, and step function is the one that we are going to look into in our training.
Okay.
Okay. So else, we covered pretty much the basics of, and basic terminologies. There would be something called batch processing and stream processing. Okay, I'll just wind up with one just a small thing. Okay, there's something called streaming data and normal data, right? So whenever it's called streaming data, it's like a live data. You are getting data continuously. For example, you have three different
Yeah.
sources, right? These three sources could be different sources. Like one could be your APIs or something, but one could be your streaming data. Streaming in the sense, when you're getting data continuously, like maybe every 5 seconds you are getting some data, every 5 seconds you are getting some data, it's called streaming. Okay, it's called
Okay.
streaming. Okay. But whenever you are getting a streaming data, you want to handle it in a little different way compared to the regular batch data. So whenever it's continuous data, it's called streaming. And whenever it's like a normal data, like maybe every 2 hours you get one file. Okay. Every one day you get 1 GB of file. That's it once. It's called batch data. So whenever it's continuous, it's streaming. Whenever it's normal way, like once in a while, it's called batch data. So during processing or your infrastructure setup, you would be handling it in a little different way for streaming and capturing batch data. So the capturing would be little different. We would be going through like when we in detail when we start the the use case or the AWS thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
can
I
you give
think
me some explanation about the streaming data? Like, what's the streaming data for the Amazon? If any example for that?
streaming data for Amazon.
Yeah.
Mm, for Amazon,
Not I
it's
mean
for
any I mean any
any.
app or anything.
Mm. Okay, so you have IoT devices, right? You have your maybe smartwatches or
Yeah.
your ACs and all that stuff. That would be emitting a lot of data like for every second or 30 seconds, like
Okay, we're
and
using some kind of yeah. Okay. Okay.
some kind of operations or so basically when it generates data every for example you have Tesla cars, right? And
Okay.
it's like a
Yes.
fully automated thing, autopilot kind of thing. Imagine there's a autopilot thing and and the data, you need to capture the data every second because the speed at it is
Yeah. Okay.
going.
Okay.
It's not that once you in a one every 1 hour you will capture the speed and data. It's like whenever it's a fully autopilot mode, like everything, like every second you need to capture the speed, the efficient, all that stuff related to the mechanics of it, right? So
Yes. Yes.
whenever there's a use case you want to continuously capture data, process something, and you know what's happening in your car, it's the
Yeah. Okay.
streaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got it now. So same
Uh,
kind of smart watches using by the
yeah,
person.
smartwatches. Yeah,
Okay.
streaming. And don't confuse the streaming with live streaming. Of course, live
No. No.
streaming,
No. No.
the video streaming also come on, I mean, can be considered a part of the streaming, but this is data streaming. Just heads up.
Okay.
And this data can be anything, like even this can be a video streaming as well, because it's like continuous video chunks that is getting transferred from Amazon Prime server to your mobile while you're watching a movie. Like you are continuously fetching data. This could be some example, but the accurate example would be the data streaming only. When you are continuously getting data every few seconds, it's streaming. When you get like a daily once or maybe every 2 hours, it's called batch data.
Okay. That's a normal data.
Normal method. And streaming, you also call it as real time, because
Okay.
you are getting it in every some milliseconds or few seconds, frequency, right? So
Yes.
it's called real time. This is called not real time, like batch. You can call it as batch as is. Real time, streaming, and normal way, it's batch. I mean, in detail, I mean, when you like look at from perspective of regular world, there's nothing called real time. It's called near real time, like because there would be some gaps while you receive it. So it's called real time or near real time. But I mean, just like terminology kind of thing. So streaming and batch, these are the two ways. So I
Okay.
think we have covered pretty much about the data engineering things and how these things look like. But I would suggest today you to create an AWS account. I will help you with how to create that. So do you have your laptop with you now?
Yes, sir. I'm using
Okay,
it.
maybe if you can share your screen, we can easily create your AWS thing.
Can you see in my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Or Pranit, let me just share my screen, or and I would be showing how to create your AWS account, and you can try maybe in your offline time, and when you come back tomorrow, let me know if you are facing any difficulties. Is that fine?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. I mean, but I'm still trying to share my screen, but it says
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, that's fine. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. First, you just type in AWS create, or create AWS account. Okay, just type in this. This would
Okay.
give it to sign up for a free AWS account. Okay, you click on this link.
Okay.
Okay, so it says free AWS free tier. Only few services comes under free tier. Few services are they incur charge when you use it. So we should be
Okay.
very you know aware of what we are using in AWS. Okay, just
Okay.
click on create a free account. Okay,
Okay.
first type in AWS create account or something and sign up for free account, create free account. Okay, it lands you to this page where it says sign up for AWS. Okay, and you just give your email ID. Okay, email ID, and you can have any account name, like any your username kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay, this can be changed later, but you can give it like anything. If you are aware of any username that you are frequently using, your email address, username, and then click on verify email address. Okay, I'm not doing this because I already have my AWS account. So when I give my email, it says already exists. So okay, and once you give your email ID and your account name or username, you click on verify email address, an OTP will be sent to your email, okay, or a link. So there you can verify the address. After this, you would be asked to give a credit card details, because as I said, it incurs charges. But if we are careful, we are not utilizing any other services which not come under free tier, that would be not be a problem. But your AWS account definitely requires a credit card. Okay, just a heads up.
Okay.
Okay, once you give your card details, 2 rupees in India, it would be 2 rupees. Not sure in the US. 2 rupees would be debited and they would be credited back in 1 or 2 days. That is just for verification purpose. Okay,
Okay.
and you should be able to set up your account. Like once you verify, add your card details and give your phone number and your location, all that stuff, and you would be able to create your account. So once you have your account created, you just click on sign in. Okay, you can just type in AWS sign in anywhere and it will eventually land you to this page. Or even if you click on sign up, right, there would be sign into an existing account. You can click this one also once your account is created.
Okay.
Okay, and it says all this account ID IAM user sign in, but we have not created IAM user yet because you just created your email address with credit card. So what you need to do is sign in using root user email.
I can use my phone too, right? I mean, to create all this.
Yeah, you can use your phone too in any Chrome or browser.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
okay. I'm using right now already.
okay. You just need to uh, if you are looking at my screen, first AWS sign in will land you here. Initially it was sign up. Now it is sign in, but you should not choose IAM sign in. You should choose root user email. Sign in using root user.
Okay.
Okay, you would be landed here, and now you give your email address like whatever you had earlier, right? So I am giving my email, and when I click on next, so you will be setting up your password during the sign up process itself.
Okay.
Okay, and once you sign in, you would be it is asking for set up an MFA device. You can skip for now, or if you want, you can do it. MFA you have idea, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like a multi-factor authentication. Where did I go? Okay, this is how your console looks like, the AWS console. You have various services in AWS, like a lot of services. We can get into detail of all the data engineering things once you have access to it.
Okay.
Okay, this is how it looks like.
Okay.
Okay, let me know if you face any issues tomorrow while if you try it today or before our call tomorrow. It's
Okay.
good
I
to
mean,
have
I'm
it.
already opening my phone and just putting my card details.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. And once you have the access to the console, don't create any, don't touch any services because that would incur costs if we are not aware. So we'll
Okay.
just create account, log in if if you're able to do it to verify if you're able to look at the console. That's it. Tomorrow we'll see the other things.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
what time we start tomorrow at the same time?
Same time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You any chance of starting earlier, like so like 8 AST? I mean, if
Is
you're comfortable.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, if I'm available by 8:30, I'll just ping you. Okay, or
Okay.
8:30 or 9.
Okay.
Okay, is that fine? Okay.